Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year.
You as
Good
well.
to see everyone. And the meeting's been called to order. So before we get started, everybody knows everybody, which is good. And I just want to say a quick congratulations to Heath, because Heath and the police chiefs in our area have won the Rosenthal Award for the Human Rights Commission. So
Thank you.
Very
All
nice.
right. Thanks so much.
just want to give them a high five. Okay, so we've called the meeting to order at 3:30. And so let's start off first with approval of the minutes from December 8th of 2023. Anybody like to, did everybody get a chance to read them?
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Can we have a motion?
I would move that they be approved.
Okay, and
Second.
second? Okay, can we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
We're good, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're over to the report on the Council on Aging, from the Council on Aging, excuse me. That's Ralph.
Okay, I have a few things I'd like to mention. Number one, I would urge anyone listening or watching to sign up for our newsletter. We have an excellent Council on Aging newsletter with all kinds of information about our programs and so on, and I would urge that if you don't get one now, please call COA and arrange to have one mailed to you. As far as programs are concerned, we had a very successful men's breakfast today.
Oh,
We had about
good.
30-some folks, I think, and an excellent talk about how to maintain our physical and mental well-beings in the atmosphere that we find ourselves in now, countrywide, et cetera. Secondly, and I'm not fully understanding this, but COA intends to have our town become a dementia-friendly town. Now, takes a certain amount of training, I guess, of COA staff, possibly the board as well, and some citizens, to learn 5 key messages about dementia and some facts about what it is like to live with dementia or someone with dementia. They're planning to train a wide variety of residents and town staff as one of our first steps toward the council's long-term goal in becoming an age and dementia-friendly community. I guess that's a pretty important thing.
More and more.
More and more with the aging of Cape Cod and so on. So that's starting on Tuesday, February 6th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I assume that's a program introducing what this is all about. And they've asked anyone who would like to attend to please register by calling into the COA. And again, the number is 508-430-7550. Excuse me. The AARP tax aid program is about to begin. That offers free tax preparation for state and federal taxes. It's going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays in Chatham, which it has been for the last several years. And it's primarily designed for folks with limited or median income levels, but they don't ask. So it's an excellent program. The tax preparers are very well trained, very kind to deal with. If anybody wants to do that, and I've had occasion to have 2 or 3 folks that I've taken over there to have their taxes prepared. These folks are really, really good at it. The cost is $0. And they ask that you call the Council on Aging and make appointments. And they start, I think, next week. Let's see this. And I'm reading, as you can see, from the Council on Aging bulletin. There's legal assistance offered on 2 different occasions: Wednesdays, the 24th of January and February 28th, and Tuesday, January 9, which is already passed. And again, this is a no-cost, quick half hour with an attorney, primarily in elder law training. From what I understand, that's also very interesting, very helpful, and very well done. Veterans assistance, she is not part of the COA actually, except that her office is in there. We have a VA Veteran Service Officer, Shawnee Carroll, available on Mondays in the COA office. Talk about healthcare, pensions, surviving spouses with claims, et cetera. And again, I've had occasion to bring in folks that needed that kind of help,
Yeah,
so.
she's great.
Yeah, I've not met her, I met her predecessor, but as a veteran myself, and brought in some other folks. Fuel assistance, they are preparing fuel assistance applications in the COA. Again, you can make an appointment by calling that number I gave you before. And finally, we still need drivers for medical appointments. These are travel between Wellfleet and Hyannis only. The most that you would be asked to do is 2 medical rides a month, if that. And there's a cash donation of $5 to $15 for each driver to help with the cost of gas. So again, if you need a ride to a doctor's office or any kind of a medical appointment, call the Council on Aging for appointments. And that is all I have to say, which is much more than I normally say.
Very nice.
Well
I
done.
prepared this time.
Yeah, well done.
Tell your secrets.
Any questions for Ralph?
Thank you, Ralph.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice job.
Sure.
Vahan normally does the recreation, but did he send anything or
He did
anybody
not.
hear from anybody? All right, so we'll wait till next month. Okay, now we're over to old business and
In your
Carol?
package, you'll find one of the things that the select board has been working on is updating committee charges. So I sent you out a version. I had some feedback from individual people separately. There was no communication between all of us. They were each individual. I made those changes. I resent it out. I would just ask if anyone has any concerns, comments about the charge, if you'd like me to change it, if it feels like everything we've talked about is in there. Our next step would then be to submit it to our liaison to go before the board, unless you have changes, and then we can bring it back to the next meeting. So,
Who again is our liaison?
Michael McCaskill.
Yeah, through the chair, of course. I think it looks great, Carolyn. I looked through it. I think it's a much better document than what we had prior. Obviously, we talked about in the last meeting.
Right.
The one prior was clearly written before the building was even built and before, it was certainly up and running. So I think this streamlines and highlights what the committee is doing and should be doing. So I think it's great. Thank you for all your work on that.
Yeah.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It's kind of my job, and I'm happy to help.
She's got
So
the-
do we need a vote on that?
I think it would be helpful because I believe that they would ask if it was a vote and what the vote might be. So.
Okay. All right, would anybody,
Yeah, I'd offer a motion
for a motion to,
I'd offer a motion to accept the Community Center Facilities Committee charge as drawn up and presented.
do we have a second?
I would second that.
Okay, and let's vote.
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous?
So with your permission, I will send this to our liaison and ask that, should he have any questions, he can certainly get back to us, but then be put on the select board's agenda when they see deem necessary.
Okay.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Yep,
Good.
well done again, Carol, thank you. Budget updates, anything?
Yes, you have in your packet the budget. It does have the narrative. It looks exactly the same, with the exception of I have had a little bit more time to look over and did find an $80 mistake on my part, so it has been updated.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I take this pretty serious, so I feel bad, but it is updated. And again, I am saying this, I know you all know, but I want to be transparent for the public because I know hundreds of people watch this. But the budget message was so that we were able to increase by a small amount, but as you all know, if we were to increase our heat, light, and water 75%, it's actually 74, so I don't want to, about 74% of our budget is that, we would have gone well over the estimate of what we could have increased. So those are not increased. I do, however, know that this will not cover us for the next year, the next fiscal year. So it's something I'm saying numerous times for people to hear. I do know we will need to increase those numbers, but the directive was not to do that and bring it forward to the select board at a different time. So what you're seeing is an attempt to do that, and I will stand firm that we are very fiscally responsible. However, I do feel I need to say that I put a budget that I can certainly support, but it's not nearly enough to do the programming we need to do. We have a program specialist, we're doing programs, we are as creative as we can be, but that budget line is lacking in that area, so I bring that forward just because I don't want anyone to think that, oh, we're so happy with this. We made some significant cuts to fall in line. I know it's always a challenging time to put a budget forward. It's hard to say that one thing is more important, but I do need to say I think that what we promised we would do when we got a program specialist is beyond what we're doing. We said more programming. I believe we average at least 8 programs a month. Are we close to that? On a budget that is for $400 like a month to do.
Yeah.
So we're so grateful to have this community, and a lot of the businesses support us. We ask for something, whether it's food from someone as local as the Seal, who just did one, the Cape Cod Theater Company, who gives us a great rate to help us bring in programs. We're partnering with anyone. Ring Brothers Spinners always giving us what we need. I could not possibly mention all of the organizations that help us, but we're just trying to do more because that's what the community is asking for, and we're not afraid to do it. We're happy to do it. It just takes a little bit of money, and by little bit I do mean little bit. I mean, if you look at the overall budget, this is a very small amount. So I needed to say that because I think it's important for you all to understand that I in no way think this is a sufficient amount, but I have a directive that I have to fit. You'll see we didn't go up in any places at all. I tried to fit the square hole, the square peg in the round hole as best we could. We are team players, and I know that every department needs things, but it is one I'll fight for. Just wanted to put that out there with your support, I hope.
Programming is where I'm reading that.
Correct.
7,500 for the
Correct.
next fiscal year.
Correct.
Yeah, I think I recognize that there's not a lot of flexibility in this, and I hope the town's finance team can somewhere find the ability to at a minimum allow what you've requested, but hopefully even provide additional, because I've seen how far you've stretched the money so far this year, and it's remarkable what you have been able to present so far. And I think that's, everything you do here is public facing, but this is, this money goes directly to offer programs for the community. And like you say, it's a $7,500 for an entire fiscal year seems, a paltry amount. So it would be great to see that number go up, but I recognize the constraints around it.
And just because you all know, the one thing I will never do is take credit for something. It is certainly due to Reagan's fiscally responsibility too. She's making fireplaces. We could buy a fireplace, but that was, no, I'm being
No, I
serious.
know.
We are trying our hardest to literally come in squeaking through with no money. So, not that I don't appreciate the money that was given to us. Please know that. But
Yeah.
I do hear that the public is, recently people send me posts about things, about not enough programs and things like that. And we are really trying to do as much as possible. So I say that. And again, you put the right person in a job, and Reagan is the right person helping to make those programs happen. So
Well, I've seen the difference, and I definitely appreciate it, so thank you very much, honey.
thank you.
Greatly
Andy,
appreciate
let
it.
me make one comment. My son from Colorado was in here today to play volleyball and to have breakfast at the men's breakfast. And I showed him this, sat him down, read it. He read it for a while, walked him around the building. He was amazingly impressed.
Yeah.
That's very
And with this, and with the programs that we're offering here, so, You've done a great job.
Yeah, great
Very
job over there.
nice.
Very,
Very.
both of you, both of you.
No, it's team.
Team effort.
For sure. She's here every event.
So that's my budget update. It was $80 if you compare it, and I again take responsibility. It was truly a math error. I didn't have my fingers
We'll
and
forgive you.
toes that day, but when you're trying to prepare it,
Yeah.
I think it always is good to look and relook and find. I'd rather us find the error than pass
Somebody
it along
else,
and
yeah.
someone else
So
find
we
it.
each kick in $15 and satisfy that?
Cover
Don't
it.
laugh. I might be. You know me better than that. You know I'll be like, yes.
Start selling the fireplaces.
In addition to the budget that you have, because I do believe that it is relevant, attached at the end of this budget is the revolving fund. We are required to pass in quarterly reports, and I do pass them into the town as required, and I always provide one for you. I would like to talk at some point, maybe in another meeting, putting it on the agenda. I don't believe that we are currently meeting the costs, our revenue's not meeting our costs. I think we would need to increase at some point, but I think that's a discussion we should have and then bring it to the public. I'm looking at fees specifically for revolving fund, which is our weight room. Currently, it's $15 for a 30-day membership. So that is an area, and I do want to remain keeping it affordable, but we also want to keep up the caliber of service we're offering to people, including the amount of hours that we're offering. So I think that's the next thing we need to look at in order to stay steady with the revenues that we bring in and the expenses.
Should we put that on the agenda for next meeting?
I would appreciate it if that's okay with the
yeah.
board. Thank you.
That would be great. Okay, any other questions for Carolyn on the budget issues?
When do you present it, or when?
Other than this, no, just kidding. Yes, I believe that date is still on March 2nd.
Yeah.
And you're all welcome. It is an open meeting. You go before the select board and present where they have what is in our munis reports. They get that. I make diagrams and narratives, and I try and make sure that I can get them as much information so that they see. They're looking at a host of different information, but as I've said to you, I will tell the exact same thing about why our heat and lights and things I know that need to increase. We just weren't given the parameters to do that, and the programming will all be things that I bring up.
And it's helpful if we come and support you with
Right.
that, as I understand.
Well, I always love to see you there.
Yeah, okay. For optics purposes, I guess.
Yeah. That's important.
Well, it is important because you are the public. You have seen what we're doing, and you are representative of different places within this community center. It's why you're sitting on the board. So
And the time, just so,
I actually don't have it yet.
Okay,
You're
okay.
assigned to them. So when I
Okay,
get it,
when
I
you
will-
get
What day of
That's
the
fine.
week is that, do you know?
Saturday.
Okay.
Yes, March 2nd. So as soon as I get it.
yeah, that's fine. It's okay. Okay, the next is new business. Carolyn?
So February is our birthday. We will be 24. It's hard to believe. It really is. So as I usually do, I know that we'll bring up the January events and Reagan will go through those, but I just wanted to tell you some of the February ones and see if there's anything specific that you would like to see for the birthday. Granted, it's 24, and I think our larger celebration will happen the following year, but we'll certainly do our best to celebrate the
24.
community center being 24. February 1st, you can pick up your ducks for our annual duck decorating contest.
It's so much fun.
Last year, we gave out 100 ducks, and over 55 came back. And there were across the board, from the smallest tyke in the town to someone well into their senior years. And it was a great display.
And
And
that
we did.
display was fantastic.
It was
really
So-
was, yeah.
And it was fun. I
Yeah.
think the public really enjoyed it, and as did I. I thought it was a lot of fun to see. So we'll do those again. The ducks are here, and we will be giving those out starting February 1st. February 8th from 5:30 to 7, we have our youth creative drama class for grades 4 through 8. That is in partnership with the Harwich Theater Company / Harwich Junior Theater. February 12th, there's ducks will be returned, and the ducks will go on display for February 12th. There are prizes. February 13th at 6 p.m., we're going to have a Valentine's Day bingo. The last bingo was a huge success, so we're going to do another Valentine's Day one. On February 20th at 2 p.m., we have a magic show. This is school vacation week also. On February 22nd, we do our duck hunt. We hide the ducks throughout this building, and the kids go hunting, and we write when the duck is captured, and there are prizes for that as well. You may remember we tried to do a lend a hand program where you can put a handprint or create something with your hand. We're going to do that again because we canceled that event or postponed it for different reasons.
That's too much like being fingerprinted.
Ralph's not gonna participate.
Been there worried about that.
The prizes and the awards for the best ducks will be given out the day of the magic show on February 20th.
Oh, good.
I don't know if I mentioned that, but we'll leave the displays up for the public to come see because it's always a fun one. On February 23rd at 2:30 is the next of our Cape Cod Military Museum talk, and again February 23rd from 6 to 8 is a family dance party. So that's what we have for February. Again,
It's the 15th.
I lied.
Spaghetti supper.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And we added one because it just seemed like a fun thing to do. We're going to partner with the Women's Club and going to put on a free spaghetti supper for the community. Anyone can come in, and we'd love for any of you to come in and help us. I think it's just it's vacation week. Sometimes it's just nice not to have to make dinner, and I'm hoping that maybe we can see what's happening in the rest of the building, and if we can get maybe some open gym time for the kids after dinner so they can run off their pasta and breads and things like that. Yes, yes. So that's what we have for our February. Again, we average about 8 to 10 a month. So
that's awesome.
I feel like that is it's a good start.
You're gonna have doggy bags for the spaghetti dinner?
Well, I'm cooking, so I'm kidding. I won't. So that's my
Nice.
information, and if there's something that you would like to see, we will start planning next year very early for what will be a very big celebration for turning 25.
And it's leap year this year, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
true, yeah.
Yes, we will leap into this exciting time.
Yeah. Great.
Oh, this is awesome.
Nice.
Any other comments on our February activities, or got your dancing shoes on? Okay. Okay, so we're up next, the director's update.
Nope, the new.
Oh, non-binding town meeting article, sorry. Non-binding town meeting article proposing the building pool in the community center basement.
Right.
So I'll give you some baseline, and then we can have the conversation. A member of the public came in and asked about what the original intention was for the building and where we are and what we have. So I'm hoping that this will be a clarification for anyone and everyone. I think some people think we have like a pool hidden in the basement. I can promise you there is no pool hidden in the basement. When the building was being in its original form, there were designs for a pool coming off of the building, what would be behind the original weight room and going forward towards the field. It was taken out of the project very early on because of the cost. It was cost prohibitive. That being said, when they were building, they did do some rough plumbing for a pool. So I think that's where the miscommunication is. People think that we are plumbed and ready for a pool. There is rough plumbing for a pool, very different. All those plumbers right now are frightened that I'm going to talk about plumbing,
Yeah.
but I'm not. I'm just going to tell you a big difference between a rough plumb and plumbing for a pool. There is no structure for the pool currently in existence. The last time, and I'm estimating the last time we did some investigative work, I believe it was about 20.
12 maybe?
No, it was $18 million, but I don't remember.
No, I mean the year.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
somewhere between 12 and
Yeah.
16, I'm gonna guess. And that does not say I know what a pool is now.
Yeah.
I'm just basing it on regular construction costs that has usually tripled since COVID. I don't know if that is the case for a pool, but I have not done that research. But I do know there is a gentleman who wants to put a non-binding question forward. And a member of the board asked if I would put it on the agenda. Always happy to do that and have the conversation. So
Sure.
that's what I know, and I just wanted it to be clear that there is no structure or building or plumbed area for the pool. It is a rough plumb to an existing basement that is currently serving as storage for the town.
I'd also mention that it's not on the capital outlay plan.
Correct, it
So
is
that
not.
projects out 5 or 7 years. I'm a little mixed up now if it's 5 or 7, but.
Correct.
yeah, Right. Yeah.
So would it seem that this non-binding question is more of a trying to gauge the general temperature of the community, if it's something that they would want to see in the future?
Hard to tell.
Well, I would guess that would be what it is because of the points that Chris brought up. It's not something that if they got an overwhelming response and everyone said yes, I don't.
Yeah, the money doesn't exist right now.
Right, the
anyway.
money
And
nor
they
the
never-
plan
they
does
never-
not exist. So
Yeah.
the town has been pretty diligent about making sure things are on the plan. So I would say maybe it's just to gather information to see if that's one of the things that should be added to a plan for 5 to 7
Future.
years,
I-
wherever
future.
it belongs.
I'm not sure his motivation, if it's that, but that's sweet of you.
Do you,
I was at the Democratic Party meeting on Saturday where the petitioner spoke to it very briefly about the non-bind and was getting signatures.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Do you know when the last kind of estimate was done for the construction costs? It sounds like they didn't go deep into that study. Like there was no estimate done of potential staffing requirements. Because I mean, there's a lot of
There's a
layers
lot.
to the onion.
more than just the construction.
Right,
It's
right.
true.
What I have
Staffing,
found in
insurance.
Friends of the Council on Aging archives, if you will, in 2012, Jim Merriam was the manager, if you remember at the time, and Jack Brown was the president of Friends. They entered a memorandum of agreement to engage engineers to expand the Council on Aging to make a senior lounge. You
I
might have
was
been
here.
around. So correct me, because I'm reading the text. I don't know the background. And then it was and also reference future study of maybe a pool. And then, if I'm remembering correctly, I looked today so I would be accurate, but it was defeated at town. I think it became an article, and
It was withdrawn at town meeting.
Yes,
It was
okay.
not
not
voted
defeated.
on.
Got it.
Right,
Yeah.
so
Thank
it
you,
has not
Carol.
have a
Yeah.
negative or a positive vote.
Yeah, but it did make the warrant.
It did.
Yeah.
It was for the expansion of the basement.
Yeah.
So I don't think
Oh.
it specifically said pool. There was an aquatics component to it, but
Got
it
it.
had several different
Yeah.
components as well. There are a lot of things that, when you say that, I know I do have a recreation degree. I know other people in the building, but none of us that I am aware of in the town of Harwich hold an aquatics degree. It's very different than running the beaches because the beaches don't have chemicals in them. I know I'll get wording
some.
from that, but we don't intentionally put you know what I'm saying.
Yes, we know.
So that it's a very different degree that you would need to hold to successfully run that. I am not saying that a person currently on staff could not be trained. I'm just saying that I know of no one currently in the town of Harwich that has that criteria.
Criteria, qualifications, yeah.
So just a heads up, really.
Their
that,
staff,
it's
that's what this
happening.
is, just
Yeah.
letting you know. And I did want people to know there are more components to. It's not something that they can say, Angie, just run that. It's part of the building. I have never said no, but this is something that comes with quite a bit of legality to it. So I would not in good conscience think that anybody would want to take that on without the proper training.
Right.
We never want to make anyone sick, hurt, any of those things. So.
And my understanding is the fields behind us are not, are designated, right? One section over there, something veterans, right? I forget what it's called, but they're not, it's not just, okay, let's never have those fields again and build a pool. Am I making any sense?
Yes, but I can say that when the fields were built, they did measure out to make sure
An expansion could happen.
ever were to be one,
got it.
that
Okay.
it fits in that
Thank you.
area. So it would not run into existing fields.
Got
So.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
It's just good. Thank you for updates.
So the summary is I've been here a long time if I can remember all that. So no.
From the
Great.
beginning, yeah. Very good, thank you. Any other questions?
Nothing.
Okay, next, director's update.
So you have the newsletter, and I am still gonna hold Chris and Heath we're gonna get each one of you to do a little blurb, a little blurb about yourself, so that we can let people know that we have a full board and what we're doing and who you are and your connection to us and the community. I think it's very helpful. I know people were excited when they read Angie, Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely, it's great. It's just another transparency of what we do in this building. So
And how often is the newsletter published?
we are once a month.
Okay. And deadline would be
Um,
around?
today. No. So we, I would say that we're usually in the last week, we try and get everything.
For the next month?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The last week of the month. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the limit's about 5 pages long, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, get that right in there. So the newsletter has everything that we've been talking about. Some other departments, I'm happy to say, are reaching out and asking if they can give information to our newsletter, which I love. We're happy to do that. It's kind of what we want. Health department is one of them. So sure, anyone watching, we do try and help any of our clubs and organizations if they have special events coming, those kind of things. We're happy to put information in about things coming up. If you have a big event coming that you want
Yeah,
to
we've been thinking of that.
advertise, so that is the newsletter update.
That's awesome. Okay, event updates, although you've been telling us about February, anything else you want to add?
Reagan's going to tell you all about
Okay,
March and
Reagan.
its success.
March.
I mean, not March, January.
I
I'm
was like,
sorry.
I was not prepared to talk about March, but
It's January. I'm sorry.
January, okay.
so we kicked off last night with our first January event, or first event of the year, I suppose. We teamed up with Cape Cod Theatre Company, Harwich Union Theatre, and did an adult comedy improv night. It was a blast. We had 18 people sign up, a couple that weren't able to make it, so we had about 15 people here. It was just so much fun. The gentleman that works for the Cape Cod Theatre Company that runs the class did a phenomenal job. And it was supposed to be an hour and a half. It went a little over that, but everybody, it was just a really good time. I've already gotten 2 phone calls asking when we're doing it again.
That's great.
And
So-
you posted on Facebook quick.
Yes, I do.
Very nice.
Get on
Reagan's
that.
not very good at some of the games.
I did the best I could. I really did. I was like, he's like, just go to the back of the line. I'll stay in my lane. So tonight we have the Cape Cod Military Museum is doing their monthly lecture on animals in the war, and at 6:30 tonight. And he increasingly every month since he started, we're getting more and more people. So I think it's getting out there that we're doing it, and I'm sharing it all over the place, word of mouth. He posts it everywhere, so it's interesting to see the audience build on that and be excited to come back to the next talk. So that's happening tonight. Another thing that's happening tonight is we're doing a free Zumba class for 13 plus. One of our Zumba instructors that holds a class here in the building is offered to do a free class for us for the community. Let them try it out.
Nice.
A lot of people have no idea what Zumba is, and I didn't until I sat outside the window and watched them. So creepily. It's a great. There's so many, to me, there's so many different levels of what we're doing for the community there. We're helping her get the word out about what she does. We're helping the community try something for free without the commitment, and it's affordable. So we're excited about that. Next week, we're holding auditions for our first community talent show. I'm really excited. I've gotten a lot of feedback from this, so I'm hoping a lot of people show up. Somebody just walked by and said, my kids would love to do this, and they grabbed a couple flyers. So I know a couple adults that are going to be doing some things. So it's really an event for all ages. Any age can come. Obviously, it's a community family-friendly event, so we have criteria to be family-friendly. So if you can't come to the auditions on Tuesday evening, you could also just submit a video to me, and I can send the participation forms. It's really casual. We're not trying to stress anyone out. It's supposed to be fun, share our talents with each other. So the actual talent show will be on the 26th, which is a Friday evening. We're doing our second family clued murder mystery scavenger hunt. We'll be doing that on Friday the 19th. We'll be doing 2 different times so we could open it up to more people. Because of the style of the game, we have to put a cap on how many people can come. But we wanted to be able to offer it to more people. So we staggered the time so we could run 2 groups.
Yeah.
So we'll do that on the 19th. We're going to do a family game night on the 24th. I believe that's at 5:30. I'm sorry, it's at 6.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that'll just be an array that is also open to all ages. We'll just have board games, card games, if you want to bring a game, but we'll have a bunch here too. It'll be open for everybody. Great chance to meet new people and just get out and do something in the evening. I think I got everything.
Great. That's great.
Can I just
Add something?
add one of the points and highlights that you have probably heard us talk about, and Reagan did an excellent job about saying, this is for all ages, this is for all ages. I really need to reiterate, because there's some information out in the public. The community center is exactly that. It is a community center. It was built to be a multi-generational building. It is built for everyone from the tiniest tot in town to the oldest individual, and everyone in between. And that's really what we're trying to do, is bridge a lot of those gaps with people. So I just want people to know it is not a senior center. It is not a youth and rec. It is truthfully meant to be a all-encompassing community, multi-generation building, and I am more than happy to have any conversations with anyone about that, or if you think that something's lacking, or if I can give you information on what we do and how we do it, I am more than happy to do that. But I think the makeup of this building and what we do and the success of it is the multi-generational part of it. So I just wanted to say that, no disrespect to anyone, but we are doing our best to make sure everyone has something, whether you're young, old, or in between. So
We definitely, to continue with that, so much thoughtful consideration goes into the programs that we do.
Family
I
friendly.
know that people don't see what happens behind the scenes and what goes in, and that's great, because we do it so that it doesn't have to be, stressful for anybody. But last month we recognized there was a little bit of a gap in the programming. So literally in 3 days, we threw together a New Year's craft for kids.
Yeah.
For all ages. It wasn't just for kids. We
was
had
everyone.
adults show up, but it was for all ages, and we had 40 participants.
Wow.
Who
We
stayed the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole 2 hours.
So not only are we paying attention, but we're thoughtfully putting the things together that we recognize are needed. And if we see a gap somewhere, we are quick to fill it, and that will continue. I think that we have the same goal in mind, that this is indeed a community center. One other thing I want to mention is that we are working together with others. Starting this month, we are working together with other programmers, and we're sitting down and we're meeting and we're talking about how we can better coordinate so that we're not doing the same things, or we're
Right.
So that's what it's all about, the community. So
And who are those, like, what do you mean?
so we're gonna have family and youth services are gonna come, COA program specialist is gonna come, rec department's gonna come, library will be here, Chamber of Commerce will be here, and the schools.
Not 204?
No, Kara will be here. Yes,
Great.
She was
yes,
also invited.
yes. We invited everybody, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody, with the exception of a couple people that couldn't make it, that we'll just follow up with.
Very nice.
And our
Smart.
intention is to do it every month at least, or that might be aggressive, but at least every couple months, so that we're truly working together to fill the
Communicating,
holes.
yeah.
Because the worst is when you have an idea or you plan something and you're like, oh wait, they're doing something similar. Well, we don't. That's not what the community needs. So
Right.
And on the same day.
on
Right.
the same day.
Nice.
Which ultimately leads to, and I apologize, Reagan has heard this so many times. Ultimately, what we're going to strive to get to is presenting the community with a calendar that has events. Now, do I know some will change? Sure. But if you can have a basis of what we
Right,
have and
what's
when we're having it, we all know the community center is going to do our egg hunts and our
Yeah.
pictures with the bunnies and a Halloween party and we're going to do some bingo games and what is some of the things that the library, who is so good at what they do, what are their things? And if there is one calendar you got that could hang on your little fridge or in your house or wherever you hang your calendar, so that people could see, okay,
What's
all right, here it
available,
is.
yeah.
So I know that's going to take a little coordination, but that's why we're starting these meetings with everyone, and it's one of the big reasons I was so excited to have somebody with me who can help to facilitate this, so that while other things are happening, this is one of the areas we can focus on. Let's tell the people when town meeting is, and that maybe we have babysitting during town meeting. Things shouldn't always be a surprise to everybody. There will be some that won't be on there, and there will be some that change, but a focused idea of what we have coming up, what council on aging programs are on there. It's not just about
Right.
one specific group, it's about what we have in the community. When is our Cranberry Festival? So that if someone walks
right.
into the Chamber of Commerce, they can get a calendar. If they walk here, they're going to get the same calendar. If they're at the library, I think, I don't care if we
Would be
make a
wonderful.
plan is, but that is my goal, that we will do that. And I hope it can be for our 25th birthday.
That would be awesome.
So, now that I've said it, we have to make it happen, so.
Anyway, I want to congratulate you because you two are very creative, but so are a lot of other people in the town, which is great, which opens it up also to the public. If there's anybody that has some great ideas, please direct it over to Carolyn and to Reagan, because we can keep adding on. And I love the idea of the community calendar. That would be awesome, because then it would definitely show us that we're a community based on all ages reaching out.
And the pictures on the calendar could be so fun. That could be a contest. I got a whole vision, but
Yeah, no,
that'll be on
that,
there.
that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Look at all your faces. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
I love it, yes. Okay, maybe we might even have a pickleball tournament with Ralph. Okay, anyway, that was our events. Building use, I'm sorry. Anything you
I
wanna
did
add
want to
into
talk about
that?
the building use. We are at the point where we're getting ready to send out our
All right.
time to renew. As you all know, it goes out to the town departments first, especially the ones in this building. Council on Aging, Youth and Recreation, the Harwich channel. But one of the biggest issues that I see, and I will take ownership of that we need to fix, and I believe that should be at this level, is that sometimes it's very easy to blanket program, but then those things aren't happening. But that really is not something that is okay, because then the public comes in and a room is blank and they had wanted that. This room, they wanted this room, and I told them no because you blanketed it, Angie.
Yeah,
And then you didn't come and you didn't have it, and someone else could have filled that spot. I really, I understand that it's hard to program and have those things come to fruition, but we need to be more mindful of the applications we're putting in, because the public wants more, demands more, and
pays for it.
really deserves more. We want to give the public the building. It's their building. So I'm going to be going to both departments, or all the departments, it's for all of them, and just saying, please don't just blanket. I understand that's an easy way to do it, but it really has to be a thoughtful decision that you are going to. And as soon as you know you're not going to be able, as Reagan said, we filled an event in 3 days that had 40 people. We're going to fill in, but if you don't tell me you're not using it, it's sitting empty, and that's not acceptable for me or for the public or for our community. We're better than that.
And that's
so.
something that has happened a couple of times for me, as I'll go through and I'll look at what's available, because I'm here all the time. I'm here 5 days a week. So if I'm here, I might as well, if there's availability to put a program in, I'm going to put a program in. But if the rooms are being used, I can't put the program, that's fine. I'll work on planning something else. But a few times what's happened is a room's been booked and then nothing's in it, and I could have put something in it. So that has happened.
And we're very visible. The public is in the building and they see that, and they come, and there's no one here to say anything to except at the front desk. I've had people come and say, you told me it was booked. I promise you I was not lying there. I have an application. That's why we keep the applications, which that's not a solution or an answer for anyone. Let's just be better and mindful at how we're booking things so that we can fill it with what the community and public want and need.
And this is more directed to the departments, town departments.
No, I am holding.
Also, well, I can speak as a nonprofit booking.
I'm holding everyone
Got it.
more responsible.
So it's not just the departments.
No, I think that we need to hold everyone
I
know.
didn't phrase it right. Who is the most egregious? You don't have to say that, but that's what I'm thinking you're going to approach first.
Correct.
Yeah, got
So I wonder if there's, one, is there, as the policy making wing of the building, if you will, is there something that we can do policy wise to create something that would, provide better, accountability is the wrong word, but, to be able to track, so let's say you had a particular group that a singular offense maybe is forgivable, but if it becomes a pattern of behavior, to be able to track that and say, geez, you've had over the course of 6 months, there's been 8 events that you had booked and the room remained empty. It was unused. Is there a way to kind of track that so that way, we can take stronger steps to make sure that like I say, I don't want to say penalize, but to say, hey, you can't book another event for X number of months because you haven't shown up to your last 4,
So
or
that's
something like that.
Excellent question. And when we redid the fee and the structure, we did put in place that there is an actual fee if you don't, like you said, it can happen once. Of course it can happen. Do we hold you responsible for the weather? Of course not. But if it's a habitual problem, then yes, we can do that. And we keep track of the clubs and organizations on our part. But I do have to be more vigilant about the town departments.
Yeah, understood. So. Yeah.
Because they're not going to pay a fee.
Right.
They're not, but
Right,
I do believe that everyone wants to do the right thing. So I think that maybe they're just not thinking that it's everyone has their job to do. I would be worried if they knew everything about my job. So they're probably not thinking, oh, if I just remember to tell her I'm not going to be there for a week and a half, she could put something else in. So that's why I said I will take the ownership and I'm going to put that forward. But I know when you're in your committees or in the community and people are watching this, like, what are they talking about? It's really just about making sure if there's space, we're going to fill it. We're going to have, I'll just use open gym or whatever. As Reagan said, if she's here and we have someone at the front desk, why we want the community in here. It would be a very unsuccessful building if we didn't have our community coming in.
Well,
So
I think that's the primary goal of this group is to maximize the use of this facility, right? So
and the people,
that's
absolutely.
how we want to do that is to make sure that we're not
Nice.
having empty rooms when there's need and desire to use it.
Absolutely.
That's good. Okay, any other questions first before we move on to Reagan and Carolyn?
I just want to add one more January event that I'm sorry
yeah.
I missed. The Youth and Family Services are doing an Understanding Anxiety workshop from 6 to 7 on the 25th.
Nice.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that is a nice
That's
one.
important,
I
yeah.
apologize for not.
Okay, any other before we, okay, Chris, anything you want to say before we,
I don't, thank you.
okay, Ralph,
I have nothing further. Nothing, thank you.
okay,
I'm good, thank you.
good, Reagan? Carolyn?
Well, no, I am good. I just really would like to thank you all. I appreciate how much work goes into the committee and your being good ambassadors to the building. So please know I do see, I see you coming to events. I see you talking about the building. I really do appreciate what you're doing because it matters and it's going to help us be more successful. And one of the other things I think we should look at some point is maybe seeing if we could get some younger students who would like to sit in with us.
That would be nice.
I know they're not voting members, but I would love to
Student
have,
ambassador,
exactly. I would love to have that as
Great.
Great
as
idea.
one of our
that would be great.
goals because I want to make sure that they're represented. There were two young ladies sitting at the table just the other day, and we were bombarding them with ideas of what we should do.
Yes.
So I would just love to be able to invite some through the schools, and we'll bring that up.
That might be nice, yeah, something to
Yeah,
think
that's
about, and also give the
fantastic.
kids community service points, you know.
So,
credit
yeah.
for
Oh,
things.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, if there's anything else like that you think of that we can reach out to, but I would love to see that as part of the makeup of what we have.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. And we do appreciate all that you do, so thank you again. We're getting ready to close, and would anybody like to make a motion? To adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Okay, Heath. Second?
I fondly second that.
Okay. And vote to adjourn? Aye, it's unanimous. And a quick reminder, our next meeting is on February 9th.
Perfect.
Okay, at
3:30, same
3:30
time.
still, right?
3:30.
Yes.
Is it 3? Okay.
3:30, February 9th, and I won't screw up the agenda this time.
You didn't screw
No,
it
you
up.
did a
I
great
do.
job.
No, you just had an addition,
Reagan, you
that's
can
all.
shut us down.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Harwich
TV
Town.
station.
February will be